So I just had a few minutes talking to our next speaker. So Christa Barfield is a Philly native, and she was a healthcare professional whose career really changed in 2018 when she discovered that her work-life balance was really out of whack. And so she traveled to Martinique and had this epiphany that I really want to not only change my life, but change other lives. And so she is the CEO of Life Leaf Organic Farms, which has Viva Leaf Tea Company and Farmer Jawn, which is an organization dedicated to increasing access to organic foods. So without further ado, Christa.
All right, I just want to say thank you first to Andrew and the whole ILC team for having me. Thank you all for being here, and we're just going to hop right in. All right. First, because many of you are probably visiting from Philly, how many people are actually from Philly here? Okay, so there's a good number of you that are visiting, so the very first thing I want to start with, and that you need to know before you leave our beautiful city, is what a Jawn is, okay? A Jawn is a person, place, or thing. It can be absolutely anything. So we are here at this Jawn, at this ILC. This is a Jawn. You out there, each one of you are a Jawn. Something that you need to pick up, like when you get something to eat, oh, I need to eat that Jawn. That is how you use the word Jawn. So that's the first thing you need to know. Name of one of my companies is Farmer Jawn Agriculture. And what that means to me is that anybody can farm. So that's really where the genesis of that is. How many of you are tea drinkers? Raise your hand. Really good number of you. America's not really known for our tea drinking. And we actually didn't have any hot water today, but we're going to correct that. I brought you a number of different teas to try. So I hope you were able to get into that a little later. Tea has not really been a part of my life growing up. Tea is something that I actually found a lot later. And more so, tea I use as a vector of recovery, like when I was sick, when I wasn't feeling well, as a lot of people have. And really, because I didn't grow up, handling tea or dealing with tea, my whole introspection, and that's what the name of this talk is, my introspection of tea. It's just very interesting how I found my life in a cup of tea. A little bit about me. I am a Philly native. I grew up in Philadelphia. This is my side of the city, Northwest Philly, so welcome to my side. And I like plants. Contrary to what everyone will believe, I am a mother of 2 teenagers. And one I just graduated from high school this year. Thank you. I worked in healthcare for 10 years, and very recently I just resigned from that. A huge shift. So I went from playing in dirt for a sitting behind a desk for a living to now playing in dirt. A huge, major transition to now being a farmer. And growing plants every single day. So it was January 2018. I thought I was working my dream job. I have years of experience in coursework in healthcare, administration, a team of staff working under me, 23 physicians, and I felt like I was on top of the world. You go to school for so many years, and then you finally get a degree. You make your way just below the C-suite, and then you hate it. And that's pretty much what happened to me. January 2nd of 2018, I remember walking into work fresh off of a holiday, feeling energized, feeling like this is going to be a great year. And indeed it was. Within minutes of me getting settled at my desk, and I read an email from my boss, pretty snippy one. And within moments, my rebuttal was my resignation. Didn't know that I was going to do that when I walked in that day. After 3 years of being at that practice, I gave them 3 weeks notice to train my team, and I was on my way to Martinique in the French Caribbean. All alone, too. I did that as a solo trip. That was my very first time leaving the country. My passport was very fresh, and went to that beautiful island of Martinique, which is also a Francophone country, and I got to brush up on the French that I had grew up learning. And, I also turned 30 that year. That was 2018. And with all the responsibilities that I had, I just needed a chance to reset. I like to call it my eat, pray, love vacation that I was doing for myself, going by myself, getting back to myself. And I had no idea what was in store for me. Lodging, as you all know, where you stay can make an entire difference of what your vacation is going to look like, what your experience is going to be. It is the very difference between a great trip and a bad trip. So literally, my only criteria when I was looking for places to stay is that I needed a pool. That was it. Yeah, my standards were pretty low. I mean, a couple stars would have been nice, but like me being able to swim was like top notch. That's what I needed. And I was able to find that. I went to, after all, that was a gift for myself. I was able to find the places that I stayed on Airbnb. And within moments of meeting my Airbnb host, I was in a bikini, eating fresh grated coconut, living my best life, speaking terrible French to my host, and it was amazing. I was loving every minute of it. And Oxford defines hospitality as the friendly and generous reception and entertainment of guests, visitors, or strangers. And this is what many of you do, right? Like most of you create hospitable spaces for strangers. So I want you to applaud yourself. I want you to really take the time to think about what it is that you do and know that you are very important. So give yourself a round of applause. Yeah. Because we don't do that enough. When you're in hospitality, you're so focused on what other people need, and sometimes we forget about ourselves. So wanted to give you that moment. Another perk of this Airbnb was that there was an option to have meals prepared by the host. So it just so happened that the host was a chef that was originally from Thailand and that had moved to Martinique. And remember, I didn't have much expectation beyond the pool, but boy, did I choose well. Such a great experience of waking up to breakfast, being prepared for me, and most of my breakfasts were accompanied by a cup of tea. And this wasn't just any tea. No, this was tea that was brewed from herbs that I watched Tawich, the name of my host, I watched him pick them right directly from his garden in his backyard. And he poured hot water over them, and he presented me with this aromatic beverage unlike anything I had ever tasted. And this was not the 3 to 5 year old tea bags that you see, that are sitting on the shelf in the grocery. This wasn't the tea bags that are sitting on your shelves and your cupboards at home. This is something amazing, something that was unmatched. And, this was healthcare in a mug for me. This was a healing on purpose experience. In other parts of the world besides America, offering a cup of tea is the most hospitable gesture you could ever make towards another person. This experience may have been normal to some, but I found so much beauty in it. There was a farm-to-cup tea experience that I wanted to recreate. I came home, did some research on tea culture, herbalism, and figured out where to buy seeds from. Now, I had never grown a thing in my life, nothing. I barely even touched soil. So, I was in a healthcare professional, and I knew that this was an opportunity for me to reincarnate my healthcare career. So that's what I did. I wanted to incorporate my love of science and helping people together, and this experience led me to that. Fast forward 2019, I've learned so much about herbs and how they affect the body. I now have a 4x6 greenhouse sitting in my backyard, tiny concrete backyard, but I'm growing. I'm sourcing herbs from other local farms in the area. I'm blending, having done what seemed like 1,000 tea tastings at this point. I've even added botanical infused honeys to my product line. Finally, I have a product line that I'm proud of, and I applied to my very first vending opportunity. And it actually took place right at Bach, where we started this conference yesterday. So it's all full circle. So the coincidence of that was beautiful for me when I realized that we would be at Bach yesterday. It was their first annual block party that they hosted, and I did a growing activity at my table, having kids come, plant seeds in soil. And then while kids were doing that, I was giving tastings of my artisanal honeys to their parents. And this experience was just so great for me. As I was doing that, a casually dressed man with a baby strapped to his chest walked over to me. And he says to me, "Your product is absolutely amazing. It's beautiful. It tastes great. Have you ever thought about distribution in larger markets?" This is my first time even being outside with my products. What do you mean, distribution? And he's asking me about UPCs and going on. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Wait, where'd you say you were from? And he's like, "Oh, I'm the senior buyer at DeBruno Brothers." And for those of you that don't know what DeBruno Brothers is, it's one of the specialty markets in Philadelphia, very well known. And well connected within our Philly food scene. And he's talking to me, and I'm just like, my mind is just going. He's like, here, take my card, let's set up a meeting. And so within the next week, I'm in his office, I'm meeting with their their accompaniment department, which is their cheese department, and we're talking about how my honeys could be featured. And I mean, it's a whirlwind. All these things are starting to happen. Then COVID hits, but eventually, my products are in all 5 of their stores. And every time they open a store, they ask me to come. Oh, yeah, thank you. It was just an amazing experience that I had no anticipation of. The demand for Viva Leaf tea is so high, and now we're at a point where we're trying to figure out how to scale up. So it's a good problem to have. So I encourage you, with every guest checked in, bag carried, urn poured, meal prepared, sheet washed, the toilet roll folded, how everyone likes it, in the little triangle, all the joys, the blows of it all. Stay conscious and celebrate yourself. Test yourself, but be present in every moment and every step, because what you do absolutely matters. The industry of hospitality is so important. Hospitality found this mentally distraught Black inner city young woman who would never touch soil to save her life, yet here I am, touching dirt every single day, out here farming in Philadelphia, changing the game, teaching city folks how to decrease food waste through composting, improving regenerative and organic food waste for all, especially the food insecure. I'm preaching agriculture is the culture, sustainability is sexy, and I'm being 100% organically dope while I do it. Thank you. Now, obviously, yes, I'm a business owner. I get busy, I get stressed like the rest of us. But when I do take a moment to sit back, to reflect, it's usually with a cup of tea. And I remember that's where I found me, in a cup of tea, because of hospitality. So thank you.